Hello and welcome to my very first solo podcast of It's a Man's World. I have been so excited to share this one with everyone, and I know the name may not appeal to a lot of people, but I'm very excited to bring you along this personal journey of mine, where I've started, where I am. A lot of you may not know me, and a lot of you may have been following me a long time, so I'm so excited. I've also got a lot of guest speakers that are lined up over the next coming months, that it won't just be me, it will be interviews with people that have walked the walk, people that will interest you, inspire you. I've always been a big listener, and I've always been walking, doing cardio or listening to something and learning from other people, taking little tips and tricks, that to do this and to be able to inspire other people and have my own podcast, this is what it is all about. So for many of you that don't know, let's get straight in. I am a little girl from Dublin, North Dublin in Ireland, and I've always had something inside of me that I knew was unfulfilled potential, and I never used to go for things because I always felt like I would be judged, or people would kind of have something to say, and I'd hold myself back because I didn't really feel smart enough to have to go for things or even say anything out loud or post things up even before social media. I just always kind of underestimated my abilities, and to say that I'm here right now in Dubai, living here, living this crazy life that I never thought would ever exist. I just want this to be an inspiring podcast for people that are in the same boat. They know there's something there and they can go for it. So I just want to give you a little bit of a background into me first of all. I am recording this for YouTube too, so I know some of you may be listening on Spotify, but if you are seeing me here, I have the laptop in front of me. This is not scripted or anything. It is very natural. That's who I am. I'm authentically me. I always have been. But I just guess over the last while, I've learned a lot about myself. I've personally invested into my own self, my education, my business. I've built a 6-figure, nearly 7-figure online coaching company. And I really am a new person. And I've also got a clothing company as well that is called Rossi Apparel. It's gym apparel. Fit Coach Rossi is an online coaching female company. We are worldwide. We work with so many clients. I know some of my girls are probably listening, so shout out to all of you girls. I love you all so much, and my team as well. I would be absolutely nothing without you girls. And to be sitting here today, I actually have a ring on that my girls got me for Christmas before I came over here, and it just is so surreal when you think of how far I've actually come, that you can make a career, you can make a life, and all your dreams come true if you just take that first step. So I'm going to bring you through today those first steps. But I did kind of go back and forward with the name for a while, and I did kind of have people that were saying, are you sure that's the right name? Are you sure that's a brave choice? Like, I'm not a feminist by any means, by the way. I absolutely love men. I'm in a relationship myself, and I actually get along with males sometimes better than females. So it just kind of is something that I've been working on the last while. And I was like, I'm going for this. So I always felt like a woman's role extends far beyond society and their expectations, and I want ladies to create, especially my own clients and what I'm building in the community, that you don't need to feel pressured by what society says a woman should have to do, and our role and your life is limitless and what you want to do. Obviously, when it comes to reproducing and having kids and everything, there is obviously a lifespan in that way, but in terms of what you can do and where you're at in your life right now, I really hope that this does inspire you today to take that leap and know that you can do anything you want, and it doesn't have to be just this is your job, this is what you do, this is what you're made to do at home. Like, that's not how we have to live. So I'm very passionate about that. But in a world that once limited her role, she rises above expectations, proving that a wife or a woman doesn't define her worth, and her dreams and her aspirations do, and we're a lot more than that. So that is the slogan, that is the caption, that's kind of it summarised together to give you a little bit of background as to why I chose that. I absolutely love it, by the way. So please, if you are listening, it would mean a lot if you could share this and put it on your stories and let me know what you think of the name, what you thought of the first podcast. But let's get straight into a little bit about my background. So I am obviously from Dublin, as I said. I am 28 at the minute, and I was an Irish dancer, and that's where my background came from, with fitness and the coaching and being into like the body and all of that. That's where it comes from. I've always been very competitive in terms of dancing, and even in school, I didn't study that much. Like I wasn't like, oh, I need to get into Trinity College or I need to do this or that. I actually never thought I would have been able to do that because I didn't have time to study. I always had a part-time job or I was always at dance class. So that for me wasn't really a priority. My first ever job was in Tesco. My mum works in Tesco and she got me the job and I was absolutely buzzing. We are the Three Musketeers. It's myself, my mum, and then my brother as well. My mum was a single mum. She brought us up and she literally done everything for us. I feel like the name that I've picked and the life and the role and the person that I'm becoming is because of her. And I genuinely always turn around and say, like, the reason I'm so strong, the reason I go for everything is because my mum pushed us to do the utmost best that we could do. She used to always tell us, you're the best, you're the best. And listen, Ciara, don't stress out. Like, worry brings you absolutely nothing. And to be honest, I think that's why I don't be chilled. I do worry obviously about things and I do be stressed, but to an extent that I can control it as well, and that I know that there is no need to actually be that stressed out about things, because she always says everything will work out in the end. And I have had so many bumps along the way. People think like, you're in Dubai, you're shooting this podcast right now, you might be listening thinking, well, it's well for you. Absolutely not. I have had setback after setback, and you might not see that on social media because I'm only kind of bringing my personality and who I am out now fully, because I am like really after kind of peeling back layers every single time as to who I am as a person, and really kind of leaning into my strengths too and my personality. But I always kind of stuck to myself in my jobs. Like, I worked in the airport, I worked in Tesco stacking the shelves, working on the tills. I was never a huge partier. Now, I did have years where I did do all of that, but it never really fully served me, and I was never truly happy doing that. And I always thought I was strange. I always used to say, like, I just don't fit in with these people. I used to always want to do my own thing, and I always wanted to be the best at what I was doing, and alcohol and drink or whatever, it just did not do me the world of good. I used to feel so down after it, and I think that's why now, like, I'm basically sober. Like, I never ever drink, and if I do, it's for an occasion, and after that I'm literally contemplating my life for a week, a month, never mind that. But where I kind of started after my first job was I went and I done a PLC after school. So I done, it's basically like it's not like fully college, but it is a what does it even stand for again? I can't remember. PLC anyways is like the lower grade of college, and I done sports science and anatomy and physiology. So with that, I had an amazing tutor in my anatomy and physiology class, Etna, and we had really good guidance counsellors, and we done the fitness course and the training, personal training, all of that was all in one. And I really love like the body and the muscles and all of that. I really delved into that. So afterwards, I remember Etna said to me, there's a course that you can do. It's a physical therapy course. So a physical therapist isn't qualified to work in a hospital, and a physiotherapist is. And with the physiotherapist, what I was doing, I would have had to work my way all the way back, and it would have taken too long. And to be honest, I didn't really want to work in a hospital because from my experience, physiotherapists obviously amazing, but I did want to be more hands-on with people. So I actually done that course, and I worked in a clinic then, basically treating patients. So I knew the human body. I know it off by heart. I know when people can't activate certain muscles, what's going on. If I can pinpoint out squat positioning, anything like that, I kind of always know because I have worked with it. So it all did tie in. After that, I got a job when I got the clinic, and I got an email saying I applied for a role for touring in Dance Masters, and it was all over Germany. It was a 6-month tour, but I was only after getting this job, and I was really weighing out my options, and I was like, this is a secure job, this isn't. Am I absolutely crazy leaving a job that I'm after been buzzing to get? I love what I do. To go on tour, and people used to think like tour and dancing, like you don't make much money from it. You don't at all, but it is the enjoyment and the love of it. And I was like, you know what, like, you'll only ever get the chance to do something once, go for it. So if you're listening now and you're on the fence about doing two things, like, if you go for this thing and it's wrong, you'll learn, and then you'll learn about more about yourself, and you'll just reroute and you'll be on a different path to something even better. So always go for it. But I went on tour, and as I said, the drinking just wasn't for me. And every night, most nights, you think it wouldn't happen, but it does. There was a lot of obviously traveling from post show to a next location in Germany, say a couple of miles up. And you may have had to stop off and grab food in the fast food or the kitchen or whatever. It just, the meals and eating crap, I just didn't really feel that good. I used to sit up at the front of the bus by myself thinking I was honestly a loser. Like, I was like, what am I doing? Like, why is everyone at the back here playing music, and they're drinking and they're stopping off and getting bottles of wine? That for me just didn't appeal. I actually sat up the front with Lutz, the driver, for the whole time. And I really do think people thought I was very unsociable, but I wasn't. I was just studying for my dancing teacher's exams that were going on at home, and I was also wanting to still compete. So I wanted to stay on top of my game, which was very hard to do. And unfortunately, in my very last Worlds competing, I got fifth one year, so I got top five. I was absolutely thrilled with that. Then I got third, and I was only a couple of points off second, and I was going back to win, and that just didn't happen. I went on tour. I wasn't practicing dance practice class, and touring is totally different styles of dancing as well. And when you don't put the work in, you don't get the result. And I didn't put the work in. I thought I was. I was like, I'm still dancing. How did this happen? And I had a slip and I got 11th. And I'm not joking with you. I cried for, I'd say, like, I cried all the way home from Killarney, like a 4-hour drive. My mum was like, here, this is absolutely ridiculous. And I was like, no. But I couldn't keep continuing with my dancing career because I was doing my dancing teacher's exams to become a qualified teacher. So it was a very hard time. I know people probably say, would you stop? It was 11, that's amazing. But it wasn't. When you came from third place, I went right down the rank. I didn't even get top 5. It was my final year. Like, I wanted to go out on a high, and I didn't get it. And I learned from that you have to put the work in no matter what you do. And that has stuck with me with my business, and how hard I obviously work in terms of my physique, my team, my body, my lifestyle, everything. And if you don't put the work in, do not expect to get the results, and don't be upset when it doesn't come true because you didn't do it. And the proof is always in the pudding, and there it was for me. It just didn't work out the way I wanted it, but it taught me a lot about the next step in my journey, that I was like, I'll never ever do that again. And if I do get disappointed and I don't put the work in, like I can kind of say, well, politics do come into stuff sometimes and things like that. But when I know deep down in my heart I've given it my all, that's all you can do. And that for me is enough. But when I came back from tour, I worked in a gym. I got a gym. I went around to a gym around the corner, and it just wasn't a role that I thought. Like, they did say to me one time, like, there's green suits here, and you'll have to go out and put flyers and give them out to people and dress up in this green suit out at the lights where I lived. And I was like, absolutely not. I was like, I am not doing this. Then I was like cleaning toilets, putting bins out at certain times where I just felt like my role, this is not what I signed up to do. And I know you have to do tasks sometimes that you don't want to do in certain jobs. Of course, it's not going to be all pretty, but like, this was just not what I expected it to be. I wanted to help people. I wanted to teach classes. I was inspired connecting with people, and it just was the total opposite. So I left. At this point, like, my mum wasn't in a position where if I left, mum would look after me. It's not like that. It was never like that. And my mum would always find the money for a costume, get us loans. She would literally go and find that money for us. And we never had it. And I remember leaving and being like, I know she's not going to be able to back me. So she was freaking out when I left, being like, that's ridiculous that you're after doing that. And I was like, no. I was like, I've got some money there. I can do this. Like, it's going to be all good. And she was like, I like to see that you're so confident about this. She was like, but you've got this to pay for that. And I was like, oh my gosh, she was stressing me out. So I was like, right, plan this shit out. So I seen a studio down the road from me in Kilbarrack, and one of the guys, Leon, he reached out to me and he was like, Ciara, you can use the gym around these times, and you can teach your classes. So I advertised, and I got, I think, 2 girls that came down. Then the next time it was only 2 again, and like, I was only charging like €3 a class. Like, there was no way I was covering even a bus money down to the gym, or even petrol at this time. But I kept going. I never gave up, and I was like, you know what, I'll ask these girls, can they just share it? Or word of mouth went around that I was giving these girls so much attention. I was checking them in when they came to the gym. I was measuring them up. I was taking their pictures in really dark places that you couldn't even see, but I was there for them, and they loved coming. Word of mouth gets around of referrals and how much you put into people. I'm telling you, like, they they will come for you no matter what. Or if you're really genuine and you do want to help people, they will come. And that is like without even having to advertise. There was no such thing as ads, social media, nothing like that. I did have a little bit of a social media. I think I only had about 2,000 followers. Even at that, probably less. I never even have the Fit Coach Rossi Instagram page, nothing like that. So I think taking that first leap was the best decision that I could have done. It started getting really busy that I actually hadn't got any more room for over like 12 people in the class. And I was like, oh my God, people were like, Ciara, you are like reeling in all these, where are all these people coming from? And I was like, this could definitely work. I was telling my mum, I was like, had 8 people at the class tonight. And then I got to a point where I couldn't bring in any more capacity. So I had to look for another place to rent out. So another gym up the way were like, listen, we can rent out these hours for personal training. I'd done that for like 2 years. There was a big huge hall in the back that I could use for classes, and I just asked one day. I was saving up all my money and I was getting results with people and they were absolutely loving coming in. My day was crazy. Like I used to do like first thing in the opening for PTs, one-on-ones, checking people in, doing their personal training session with them, fly home, have a meal, go to the gym, come back, go back in for teaching classes, back in for personal training. And then I would go to dance and teach classes, dance myself, and then go back to the gym and do final PT. So I was doing like first thing in the morning until like 11 o'clock at night. And I done that for about 2 years straight. And honestly, it was crazy when you think of it, but you always have to kind of start with nothing, and you do have to work hard, and nothing that you want big will come easy. So after that, I said, you know what, there's a space here. I could ask about renovating this into my own gym. And I had this vision of like a woman's gym with like baby pink, my colours. Anyone that knows me, you know that's me. And I was like, I'll save up all my money. And I did save it all up. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm spending all this money on equipment, and equipment is so expensive. Anyone that owns a gym knows how much it is. Even to buy dumbbells nowadays, it's absolutely crazy. And my mum was like, here, like this is a big risk. Like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Like you're giving all your money away. Like, why don't you just keep continuing? And people will always try and talk you down into the next step because there's a fear. And for me, the fear was never there. I was like, I never had this money anyways before this. Like, I'm going to do it. If I made that work with 2 clients or 2 people coming to a class, I will make this work. So I got the place painted. I had family that could paint it for me. I went and found the guy that had the gym that I was personal training in. He had a supplier. I went and viewed the equipment. I got like secondhand equipment, but it was basically brand new from a gym that was shutting down. I put tarmac out. I had space for classes. I had lights. I had machines, leg presses, grass, big huge pictures. It was just this Barbie pink gym that was just gorgeous. Everyone loved coming into it. The vibes were just amazing. At this point, I never even had a website. I was checking people in on a pen and piece of paper behind my desk. It was crazy, and rent was really expensive that I had to push a lot, and I was the only person there at this time. I don't know how I done it all, but I really did keep going with this. And then obviously lockdown came, and when everything was up and running, you know what happens, like things close and life stopped for everyone. And it's not just gyms, it was the whole world, which was something that no one ever experienced or no one ever expected. And I remember when it happened at the start, I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, I wonder, like, will rent have to keep continuing, or like, what way does this work? Like, are we going to be back next week? Is this like a few days, or like what's going on? And it turned into be like 2-3 years, which no one ever expected. And the first lockdown, I kept going. I had some money there that I could pay for the rent. Second lockdown, I think it kind of got froze, but then I had to continue again. And I was like, how am I going to pay for this? Like in that time, I had to make a decision on, I never knew when the lockdowns were going to finish, and it seemed to be one after another. And I made the decision. I was like, I'm going to sell all my equipment and I'm going to close it down. And I was only open a year and a bit, and to do that was devastating. Like I was so upset doing it. I was like, how am I doing everything that I wanted in life to build up, and I was totally anti going online. I was like, absolutely not for me. I need to see people in person. You can't build that connection. Oh, I was one of them personal trainers. If you're one of those right now, that was me. And you need to flip your mindset, because the online coaching game totally changed my life and changed my business and the outlook on everything that I done. Results, the law. It was incredible what I done. So I closed it down, and I sold all the equipment, and that was really it. And I took the leap. So I was teaching classes online I was teaching classes on Instagram Live. That's where my following grew from. Anyone that's probably listening now, I know you girls have probably followed me a long time, and you've probably been joining in our lives. Like, I still get to this day people saying like, you genuinely saved my life. Like, I needed those 30 minutes a day, and you just kept posting up. I done 2 lives a day every single day. I think I took one day off where I might have done one, but I consistently done live workouts for 3 years for people for free. I didn't charge, I didn't do anything, because it made me feel good. I knew how much people were benefiting from it, and trust me, like this bit of like workout and those couple of minutes a day, it changed people's life. And I'm always so grateful for anyone that joined in. We had a little bit of a group going, and it was just amazing. And I know people were saying like their partners were joining in and the family were getting moving, and that for me was very personal, because I had someone in my family that took their own life through mental health, and those lockdowns like really killed them off. And it was just a point of, I think, for anyone that's listening that didn't really find the workouts or didn't find anything that could work for them, I hope that you're in a better place now, because it wasn't a good time for a lot of people. And anyone that did obviously revert to exercise and enjoy it, that was your outlet. That's why I'm so passionate about it. I know how good it can make people feel, and the mental side of things, of course, are totally different, but this was totally different for people, and it benefited the mental side as well of things. So the best decision I ever had was, I had no experience online. I had no website, I had no Google Sheets, I had no app. I started using and designing my programs off Microsoft Word, sending them to people. And I was doing this, like typing them out one by one all the time, that it was so tedious. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, I'm going to give my clients that were in the gym that had paid for like, say a package of €25, is that cheap at the time, for classes. I was like, I'm going to give them a program. This is what you're going to do at home. You're going to join me on these live workouts. Let's catch up once a week on a Zoom. And that was how things kind of started to evolve. And I was like, people are still getting a result. They're connecting with me, and they're actually getting more kind of a result quicker as well through online. How is this working? And I was like, oh my God, I was like, I'm going to set up an online coaching company. I'm going to move all my clients online. Anyone that doesn't want to come with me, no problem. That's fine. If you need in person, absolutely. But right now, the world isn't going anywhere in person. This is online. And you know what? No one flinched. And that was my worry. Absolutely no one flinched and said, Ciara, like, oh, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, they were like, wherever you're going, I'm coming with you. And I think that just is a testament to show how much trust people have in me as well, and how much when you change someone's life, that they know, regardless of being in person or online, I'm going to get them the result, and I'm going to help change their life. And I think the one-to-one Zooms, we were doing like a one-to-one Zoom check-in where I was checking in with like nearly, I think at one point I had about 150 people on for a Zoom class, and my Zoom capacity was only 100, and I was like, what is going on? Like, there was like 100 people, and then 50 something people waiting in the wait room, all texting me being like, I can't get in. And I was like, wait, there couldn't be over 100 people joining this Zoom, and there was. So that's when I reached out to one of my clients, is now my best friend, head coach on the team, Jade, who is the best person ever, and her journey is also incredible, and she will be chatting on the podcast too one time down the line. It's really inspiring. But she came on and she started teaching classes for me, and then I was like, would you like to make this like your full-time job? And she was obviously hysterical. She was like, absolutely. But everything starts small, and I think I had the freedom of going traveling. I went to Bali, and then after all that, we were like, so where do we go? Like, we're not going to get laid in tax. We don't really, I love being at home, but like, it wasn't the place that I needed to be to grow, expand, connect with people as well, network. So Dubai was the place, and obviously tax-free is the bonus. You've got the fitness, you've got the time difference, you're working ahead of things. There is obviously a lot of pros and cons as well of living in Dubai, and you're not as connected with people, but I feel like if you've got yourself and you've got a good circle and environment around you, you can be happy wherever you are. I go home and I work in a cabin, and it's freezing cold, it's lashing raining, and I'm happy because I'm grateful for everything that I have right in front of me. And Dubai is a bonus, of course, and the apartment and everything is amazing, and I'm so grateful for everything that I've got. But I know deep down, like, I've worked so hard to get here, and anyone can do it as well. So I'm living in Dubai now at the minute. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm becoming the boss woman that I've always dreamt of, and the person that I always knew when I was younger. I want to be like this, and I'm that person now. I've stepped into those shoes, and it's just, I feel so good. And most days my life really doesn't feel real, and I want to interview real people. I want people to be inspired and listen to other people. We want to have some fun. I want to have a laugh with people. I love that. Like, I get such good connection with people, and my aura and my vibe, if you know me and if you've met me, you know what I'm like. And I like to think outside the box, and I don't know everything. And I love to learn off other people as well. That's why I love podcasts so much. Like, I hope this morning now, or anyone that's listening to this at whatever time of the day or the world it is, that this is going to motivate you. And with anything in the world, like you want, or that you want, where you want to go, who you want to be, with hard work, self-belief and determination, anything is possible. And I know this is only like the stepping stone and the tip of the iceberg for me. And I know this time next year when I look back, I want to have, say, 50 episodes done. I want to have one a week. I'm going to commit myself to that. I'm going to commit myself to you right now. But you can do anything in the world. And if you want to be anywhere, go anywhere, you can do it. Don't feel like, I wish I could do that. You can always do it. There's nothing that ever stops anyone from doing anything. And that's what I've done. I've created this as my reality. And it's scary as well to say that, but it's the most amazing thing ever. Um, I want to leave you with two things today that I want you to ask yourself. And these are two things that are really important. And I don't want to keep this too long. I want this to be short and sweet, a bit about me. Just for you guys to know that, like, it's not happy Larry. My relationship isn't happy Larry all the time. I miss my mum and my family at times. Sometimes I am very isolated because I'm so driven, and I cut out and block out a lot of noise, but that's because I'm so focused on the goal and I'm not saying you need to do that either, but I am so focused on where I'm going and what I'm going to do with things, that this is a promise to myself that I'll never let myself down. And if anything ever does happen, I've got myself. And if you feel like you're codependent on someone, or you feel like you would be lost without this certain person, to an extent, yeah, with love and all of that, of course, but in terms of like having yourself and having security around yourself, always being independent, and knowing that if anything ever does happen, I can fall back on me. I've got me. And I think that's the most important thing as well, because sometimes we rely on people that we're in a relationship with, we rely on our family. What happens when those things go? You're lost and you're like a shell of yourself. You've got to have yourself, you've got to have your back. And I've really delved deep into my own side of things and my family and what has kind of happened in the past. And maybe some of you don't know, but like, my dad was a gambler. He was an alcoholic, and he was pretty abusive. As much as he tries to make it up to me now, I know he won't be listening to this, but as much as he tries to make it up to me, I lived in a lot of fear and regret and no trust in people for a very, very long time. And it stopped me in so many things. Like, most of my relationships, yeah, I kind of outgrew people and we were going different places in different ways, but I always look at things and I'm like, it wasn't them that was the problem, it was probably me. And I can put my hand up and say, hand on heart, that it probably was me, but it comes from your past. And we all have a past. You might not have anything traumatic that has happened to you. You might have lived an amazing life. You've probably got a great mum and dad, but some people don't. And it can be very hard to understand how your life hasn't got that when you don't have the perfect mum, the perfect dad, the happy family. But I had the perfect mum. I have the perfect mum. I've got me, and I'm truly happy, and I don't have any resent anymore towards my dad. And that was something that I did for, I'd say 10 years, if not more. And I never trusted anyone. So right now, to be able to say, I forgive you, and I don't need to forget, but I forgive you. And that for me is a big thing. So always remember as well, you can forgive, you don't have to forget. But forgiving says a lot about yourself. It says a lot about your character. And I wouldn't have been able to do that a couple of years ago. I've been working on therapy and really kind of going deep in myself and really seeing what I'm at fault with as well as a human being. And I think if you're trying to be better and become better all the time, not just with your body and going to the gym, but mentally, how you treat people, how you speak to people, your connection with people. Are you sitting on your phone all the time? Are you rude? Are you saying hello to someone you really don't know? Those small little things every day, how much they mean to people. Like, in Tesco, for example, before we wrap this up, like, I used to smile at people all the time on the till, go out to the shops, like bring out people shopping bags with them, like the older people, they'd be the only people that they would touch base with a day. And they always used to say to me, oh, we'll miss you on the till, you are Mrs. Smiley. Everyone always says that to me, you're like Mrs. Smiley, always say hello to people. I'd never ever be rude to someone. And I think when you can be a better person and a nicer person overall in this world, I think that's kind of what we need a little bit more kindness for sure. But I'll leave you with these two things today, these two important questions to ask yourself. Number one, maybe write this down in your notes while you're listening. Are you truly happy within your life right now? And that's important. Are you truly happy? Rate yourself out of 10. If not, ask yourself, what areas of your life do you feel like are either holding you back, they aren't truly fulfilling you, and why? Okay, so write down why. You need to know why, not just is or, oh, I'm not really sure. You need to know why. Sometimes it can come back to you as a person. Something's triggering you. Why is that? Or what are you not happy with in your job? You can change everything. You've got the power to do that. So that's why I'm asking you that. And number two, how big do you dream? What goals did you set yourself for this year? If you haven't set yourself any goals this year, you need to really kind of have a little bit of a think about it. If you can't take pen to paper, I have a goal setting workshop that I done with my ladies 2 weeks ago. I did put it up in a post and I said, if you wanted it, it's free. There's no tricks or clicks or anything like that with it, but it will really get your brain thinking as to like different areas of your life that you want to work on this year. And it's so important to have goals down for yourself. People say it's like a lot of pressure. It's really not. Like, you do need to have goals. It excites you as well. And could you dream bigger, or does that kind of sound too scary for you? Okay, so if you're like, oh God, I wouldn't be able to write that down, you need to write it down. Okay, so first one, are you truly happy within your life right now? And what areas of your life are you not that truly happy with? And what holds you back and why? And then how big do you dream? And what goals have you got down for this year for yourself, 2024? We're here now. This podcast is here to inspire you. And it's made to make you think and to get your brain going. And this is what I love listening to podcasts for, because I'm like, that got me going. The amount of people that I've listened to over the last couple of years that have made me tick and has made me evolve into the person that I am and gets my brain going all the time is amazing. But on that note, have an amazing week, and please, please, please let me know what you thought of the first episode. If you can share it on your stories, it will be on YouTube and it will be on Spotify. But thank you always for all the support. It never goes unnoticed. I always get back to everyone. And if you feel like you can't do this, this is a sign. I'm here. I never really thought that I could do it, and I stepped into those small little steps every single day, and here we are today. So this would mean a lot if you could share it, and I just want to say thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I'll see you next week for our second episode with our first guest, which is so exciting. I will introduce her in the next one, and I'll keep that a surprise. But for now, thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one.